know there's so many people like me. I did not know there were so many of you that hate this shit just as much as I do. We want fall and Christmas and snow and winter and hot chocolate and trees and garland. We don't want what's happening out there, which is 101.5. I don't know what kind of psychopath wants that. It's definitely not me. But we found each other. We have found each other. So let's bitch about it until it's over, okay? You can bitch to me about how hot it is, your swamp ass, your swass, your titty sweat, whatever the case may be. I got you. I got your back. Let's go on this journey together. Summer haters, unite!
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. We've got news and news at long last. It's been a couple weeks. Let's get to it. We're the Mattitude Eric. I'm Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello, everybody. It's been a couple weeks, but some couple weeks might not be that busy, but we missed both Comic-Con and then like just a bunch of shit right after Comic-Con. So it happened to be a busy couple weeks.
We're not going to get into everything we missed. Just a lot of it's Marvel heavy, as Eric pointed out before we hit record. So we're going to get into that, especially because Spider-Man just opened and it is doing quite well over at the old BO, which is, it's got the biggest domestic opening ever. It's got the fastest $500 million domestic earnings, and it's got the biggest now Monday and Tuesday ever coming off this past week. But the fact that it almost made a solid worldwide billion after 3 days is still staggering. Now, I'd like to go back a few months back when we talked about the movies we were worried about and the movies we thought would do well. Odyssey and Spider-Man were the ones we thought would do well. The ones we worried about, Supergirl, Mandalorian. My point is that there was writing on the wall, and if dummies like us could see that, I don't know why the bigwigs over at the studios couldn't see it. But anyway, Spider-Man, people love him, Eric.
People love him. I mean, the thing is that what's crazy is obviously by the time, not only would you guess that another Spider-Man movie will do very well, but by the time the movie's opening, it's like, oh, this is going to open huge. This will probably be one of the biggest openings ever. But it's still the fact that it beat Endgame's opening domestically, no one saw coming. It's still, especially because No Way Home was seen as a special event Spider-Man movie, and this wasn't. There was this feeling that it's going to open huge, but it won't be top 3 openings. And the fact that it was oh no, people just fucking love Tom Holland as Spider-Man a fucking lot.
And we knew that. We knew
that, but it was just this extra
I
level.
also feel this is a great ass movie. You can listen to us talk about it on the Hudson Hawk Patreon episode. We talked all about Spider-Man Brand New Day. We didn't talk about the box office stuff. Held it for this episode, but in which I proclaimed it was my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. Again, maybe a little recency bias, but again, my point being is that the audiences love this movie. So it's not like they just made a good Spider-Man movie. They made a movie that people wanted to see again, the next day. This is a movie that's going to be driven by repeat viewing also, not just everyone going to see a Spider-Man movie, but everyone going to see a Spider-Man movie multiple times.
I agree, but I also think even before people knew that they were going to love it, just that opening weekend was insane. And it just does show that it's look, Spider-Man is one of the most popular characters ever. That's a known fact. And the MCU, no matter what you can say about the last few years, has just been this, massive juggernaut. And when you look at the box office, the shitty thing about the, Brand New Day coming out and being an awesome movie that people love is that people suddenly have to shit on the John Watts movies. They can't just say, I like this best.
Yeah. So it's funny. You brought that up on our Patreon episode. And I hadn't seen any of it, but since then, I've seen people saying this is how he swings in this movie, and this is how he swings in this movie. I'm you mean the movies you loved?
Right.
The past Tom Holland Spider-Man movies that you loved and did well and were received well? Yeah.
But also, I think it's it's a silly thing because also this movie doesn't open to this level if people didn't love the other movies Tom
Right,
Holland was
right.
in as Spider-Man, including those two Avengers movies. Because again, you look at Homecoming, did not hit a billion. I think it's like 700, 800 million. Again, huge hit, but it kept going up each movie. And I don't think I don't think it's not important at all that he was in two huge Avengers movies in between the first and second movie, so that again, an army of people, so many people love Spider-Man already. Now more people are seeing Tom Holland Spider-Man and realizing how much they love him as the character. And so yeah, it really just all funneled into this, and the fact that people were so psyched to have him back as Spider-Man, again, one of the most beloved characters ever, and what is now, I think, I would say, the most beloved version of the character. It doesn't mean it has to be your favorite, and you can still love Tobey's Spider-Man more, but I think just on a grand level, this is like just become this incredibly embraced version of an already loved character.
Even before this fourth movie, he'd already been Spider-Man more than the other two, obviously.
Yes.
Considering all the Avengers movies, and the Captain America, but also, has any other MCU thread provided better cliffhangers to lead you into another movie, right? Which is to say, Captain America had a great cliffhanger, but it led into Avengers, really, right? Like, not just the next Captain America, but between Far From Home's, the reveal of Peter Parker to the world, and him going, oh, fuck, right? And then people want to see what the fuck's up next. Then No Way Home dropping that bombshell that shattered our hearts. We want to see where it goes from there. Like, I don't know about any other superhero franchise within the MCU that gives us a clear, palpable reason to watch the next movie,
right? Except for the obvious answer of Infinity War.
Well, no, I mean solo superhero movies.
Absolutely. The only the caveats are so ridiculously whatever when you have a success that's huge. Yes, it didn't break the record of Endgame worldwide, so Endgame still remains the only movie to open over $1 billion in one weekend. And in China was interesting because China has obviously gone so much softer on US movies than they were 7 years ago. And they didn't even put No Way Home and several other Marvel movies out in China where they have to get this clearance from the government. This one did open there, and it was one of the best performing in a long time. And I think it had $150 million opening, but it was still $200 million less than Endgame. So it both showed, hey, people will still come out for this stuff, but it's also softened. So
I just think that Infinity War, we knew we were getting Endgame, right? Mm-hmm. Which is to say, the last Spider-Man movie, as what a downer ending it was, that seemed to reset him as lonely apartment, make your own suit Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for a while, kind of stood as the end. You know what I mean? We knew he'd be back, but I don't think anyone at that time really knew that there would be a movie like this follow-up, like a full follow-up, which is why it took so long. But anyway, it was a Spider-Man 4 was not confirmed. It was all hoped for, but we knew Endgame was happening no matter what. We were going to get closure on this.
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't want to. We said a lot about this. I do want to add one thing, which is that domestically, again, no matter this is going to be one of the biggest movies ever. This might be one of the top 5 movies ever worldwide. Domestically, though, it's at this next extra level, and it's very funny because just a couple months ago, I had tweeted out, it's really hard to see what will beat Force Awakens, which remains the #1 movie domestically with 936 million, because I said at the time, it would have to be a Titanic or Avatar, which is to say, we've run out of sequels to eventize to the level of a beloved thing coming back after this long, or the culmination. So I couldn't see what it would be of another giant franchise movie. I thought it would have to be something coming. And I looked back at what people said to me back then, and I say this because it looks like it could be Brand New Day that'll do it. And it was funny because no one said in the answers it would be Brand New Day. The closest someone did come was saying maybe another different Spider-Man sequel that is like No Way Home, as a special event. But they didn't think it would be Brand New Day. So I think I might have been wrong about it not being a sequel to something pre-existing, and Brand New Day might just be that thing.
I also, before we close out Spidey here, want to say too, and I don't think we talked about this on the breakout episode, but Spider-Man, as far as like Spider-Man has always, and X-Men to a certain degree have been like the big Marvel heavy hitters, like guarantees. Now the X-Men movies became after a while no longer guarantees and no longer guaranteed to do well or be good.
Right.
But like comic wise, they were like the most popular, like when we were growing up. And for DC, it was always the Batman, and the Batman movies were the ones that hit big first, and the Batman movies that led through the 90s. And then with the Christopher Nolan movies. And so Batman has always been like DC's heavy hitter. Now, the difference between the two characters is very much your investment level is different. Peter Parker is almost like we can self insert a bit, which is like, oh man, he can't make rent. He's having, his love life's in trouble. Like he's down on his luck. He's penniless Parker, like Peter Parker is always having a terrible time. Like that's one of the driving forces of his comic book. And why he's so relatable, because he perseveres and he represents hope. And Batman is a little different. Batman is like driven by vengeance. He never has to worry about where his next meal is coming from. Like we're all set on where Batman's going to live and how he's going to survive. He's a billionaire.
Right. Even if you blow up Wayne Manor, it's not like
he's still got like several other residences.
I guess I have to live in my penthouse apartment now.
He's super. He's super popular because he's capable, strong, wealthy vigilante who basically fights crazy people and wins. But it was interesting to me with James Gunn's DCU is that him bringing back Superman in a way that we all sort of longed for, right? Like from like the Christopher Reeve days, like is like trying to make basically like realizing there's money in representing hope. You know what I mean? Representing someone who fucks up and somebody who's trying to do better and be better and do the right thing, but struggling. And that's what he made Superman do in the last movie. So it's almost like we don't have a Spider-Man type character. We don't have a teenager or young adult or somebody who's like people are heavily invested in their trials and tribulations, So it's interesting to me that he tried to do that with Superman to, moderate success. Like it worked, and it was that, last year we were like, this is the Superman we won and this is the message we needed, right? Which is what people usually kind of say after a Spider-Man movie anyway. Like,
right.
So anyway, because you can't do that with Batman. Though it is funny that the actual last Batman movie was about him going from a dark, fear-based vengeance seeker to a symbol of hope. Like you have to sort of turn that corner. That was also a big step away from.
I think the one thing I'll say about what you're saying is that Superman can be a wonderful, wonderful character, wonderful paragon of hope, and can absolutely. He doesn't need to be boring. You can show him as fighting for what's right. Show his emotional vulnerabilities. But you can never overcome the fact that physically,
no, you can never overcome the fact that he can circle the globe in 5 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean you can't make him interesting. It's just that Spider-Man feels like it's that perfect thing where he's powerful, but not too powerful. You can make him financially not have anything, and just all these it just
if Superman had to fight the Hulk, he'd just be like, all right,
right.
It wouldn't be a big dramatic turning point in a film. He'd be like, all right. This guy, I've got like 5 Hulks I gotta fight.
Right. Okay, Green Doomsday, whatever.
In the wake of this massive success from Marvel Studios comes the surprising news of first of all, has anyone checked on Sepinwall about this news?
Oh, I've been texting. He was the first to tell me. In fact, I was at some event or something, so I didn't see this news when it broke or a screening.
Now
Sepinwall broke this to me.
In nasty unrenewal territory, which is an ugly word and it rolls off the tongue awkwardly. It's a clumsy word.
And I think it was introduced to many people with COVID because it would happen once in a while.
Yeah,
but it happened with a few shows at the beginning.
So the only time that I can remember actually being actively upset was Glow. Glow not getting its final Glow had storylines it needed to close out. It needed an extra season, and then it was happening, and then it didn't. Wonder Man, I'm bummed about, but not really. So my explanation is that I think the first season is great, and it's also all we expected of it, and it ended wonderfully, and it encapsulated a wonderful story. Did I want more? Sure, but I don't need it. And we were all surprised when it got renewed in the first place.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not as upset with my point.
I am I'm frustrated, even though I get what you mean, because A, no one expected that this show would ever get renewed. Every one of us, I say every one of us, I mean you and me, but also Sepinwall, so many people going into it were like, well, this is the end of an era show. We're lucky we got it in the first place. It's got really good reviews, but it's like, hey, this is going to be a one and done because they're done with this era of these like random shows about obscure characters. Then it got renewed, which was crazy. But like, yes, on one hand, I didn't need more story-wise because the way it ends, I thought is like, yes, while we don't literally know what's next for these characters, it's still told a complete story and it's fine. Like, it's like this kind of like we were talking about with like, if there hadn't been a sequel to, No Way Home of like, well, we left off with a certain place.
It could have been an end.
Yes.
End / beginning. Yes, exactly.
But it is funny to me, this situation, because they made it so much worse for themselves by renewing it and then unrenewing it, right? Like, if they just canceled it, it would have been like, well, that's what we expected, and that sucks if you wanted more, but, well, we're glad to have this. Whereas they renewed it. So they gave everyone this false hope it's coming back. And it did make me more frustrated. Again, it's not the end of the world for me because, like, for the reasons we just said, but I also was really surprised they did it for just on a certain level of optics and relationships, because we're in, Yaha Abdul Mateen II has gotten an Emmy nomination for this show for Best Actor. He is actively campaigning for right now. Destin Daniel Cretton, co-creator of this show,
just had the biggest movie of all time.
And I think they made sure this news didn't leak until after he'd finished doing press for the movie. He still was asked about it coming out of the weekend because he did, oh my God, you just had an amazing opening weekend, a little bit of press, but they made sure it didn't break while he was doing a million interviews. So.
Well, even he says he doesn't fully understand why. But
and he also said it wasn't Feige's call, which I could have told you, because it's like, why would Feige cancel this acclaimed Emmy-nominated show of his?
And he did direct the first 2 episodes of that show.
He directed the first 2 episodes. It sounds like he might have come back to direct, at least the beginning of next season, because Andrew Guest said everyone's schedules were cleared. It wasn't a scheduling issue. So I know that, look, a season of Wonder Man, we were saying, I'm sure it costs a shitload. It might cost less than other Marvel shows because it doesn't need as many effects, but it's not going to be a cheap show. However, there is a certain point where I am surprised that a company like Disney wouldn't just say, let's do what we said here and make it the final season for sure, right? No chance in hell it's getting a season 3, but just do it for a lot of different reasons, and we'll bleed it into this other story about something else not happening, which isn't a shocker, which is, it became last week a narrative of like, well, Marvel's not going forward with a lot of Black-led projects because
of Blade, yes.
Because we also got Mahershala Ali saying what we already figured, which was his Blade movie is not happening.
He just says if they wanted to do it with me, they would have done it with me. For whatever reason, this project is not for me. So I have to move on. And you know what? He's not wrong. It has been a massive, stupid tug of war, and like it's time to just sort of like dust yourself off and try again, like Aaliyah says. Just move on. And it got to a point where like this movie was in such like weird developmental hell that like it was going to come with so much baggage, even if they managed to get it out. And I don't think anything is an absolute, because look, there were some reports that part of the problem with Blade was that Ali was maybe being a little too precious about it, wanted it to kind of feel important, and there was some times where they could have gone forward and he was the one holding it up, but I don't think that was always true. I have heard that was true, by the way, that there is some truth to that. But I don't want to be like, it's his fault, because there are other times I'm sure where Marvel then was feeling confident about the version he wanted. And I think it became like a big push and pull. It doesn't mean we're never going to see. I just saw him in a shitty Jurassic Park movie. I don't know. Anyway, my point is, it's like I've seen the man take a paycheck. So it's not like.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, but look, if he wanted Blade to be like, something that he was really proud of, I can't hold that against him. But I will say that it's just, I don't think, look, Wonder Man being canceled, again, it was never going to be a surprise if they canceled in the first place. They canceled the only 2 shows to get a second season had been Loki and Daredevil Born Again. All these shows, they just weren't worth the money, and they realized that streaming wasn't going to bring in the money, and they're backing off from shows in general. Some people are saying maybe they're just done with shows 100%, because this means after Daredevil season 2, we have Vision Quest this fall.
Vision Quest, yeah.
But then we have Daredevil Born Again, and then we have nothing like that we know is happening. I bet they still do some mini series like every year and a half. But I think it'll be much more. But I assume the Wonder Man thing. I assume the Wonder Man thing is Disney and Disney Plus people above Kevin Feige's pay grade, and there are people above his pay grade saying, really parsing the numbers and saying this just isn't worth it for us. And I get that if they canceled it in February, like we assumed they would, but I do think they should have just done the second season.
I mean, it seemed like even though it was a decision we all liked, like it coming back for a second season, none of us thought it was a financially well thought out decision.
Because the word was it was not, it didn't have the viewership.
Like, we were like, it was just for a brief window. We were all like, maybe money isn't the most important thing, and we all got super happy. Where it's like, maybe they care about the art, and then of course they don't.
That was the funny thing when I'm sure you saw Cretton in that same interview when he talked about, Feige's upset too, and we don't really understand. And, they did they do the thing where they, would you want to do a Wonder Man movie? And he said, sure, I love the character. But then he also added, he'd like to work in a realm with Wonder Man where he understood the numbers, basically referring to the murkiness of they don't tell the creators even exactly the numbers, and no one understands what are the financials.
It behooves any streamer to not tell anybody in numbers, because that would means they may have to pay them more ultimately in some other way. We haven't mentioned, we've been talking about Wonder Man for about 10 minutes. We didn't mention the good news to come out of this, Eric, is that, without a second season, without a season 2, Josh Gad remains dead. So
why are you rooting for that? Actually,
I'm just saying we don't have to worry. That's all done. That's so we can. I think
so. Gad,
we can rest easy. Is what I'm saying.
He is missing.
Clear conscience.
Gad revealed, because I knew this secretly, but now Gad talked about it openly, so I don't have to keep it a secret, that they'd filmed a gory death for him. It wasn't originally
a fucking Born Again season 1 King Michael Gaston death.
That it was a really gory death originally that happened, but then they cut that, and now it's we never know what happened to him. So yes, I presume Josh Gad will be left missing forever.
Listen to him spilling secrets, more like Josh Gab. You know what I'm saying? Hey, real quick, are these casting things for the new Jake Schreier X-Men movie, are they real? Are they just is Marvel supporting this, or is it just being broken by reputable people?
Cyclops and Emma Frost are real. No official announcements. It's but obviously
it's a little weird that we're doing this. Obviously we know who Jean Grey is, but it's a little weird that we're doing this before we get Doomsday, where we're going to see these X-Men. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's weird, but they got to make the movie, so it's just kind of
I guess they have to make the movie. If you insist. So that would be Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, and a dude named Kit Connor as Cyclops, Scott Summers. I have not seen the Heartbreaker shows. Heartstopper.
Which also gave us Wiccan. So they have this has been a big source for the MCU. With the central couple on this show.
From Agatha. Okay.
Yeah. They are the two leads.
Wiccan. Okay, yeah.
If you want to see Cyclops and Wiccan have sex, you can watch Heartstopper.
Oh man, it's like its own MCU slash. It's like its own slash fic.
Yes.
Gonna get an archive of our own over here. He's also, by the way, in the Elden Ring movie that's coming out. Him and Callie Spini are the leads. By the way, there was a rumor about Callie Spini and Rogue too, but
Callie, I believe it's Spini. That there's a lot of talk of her playing Rogue and Charles Melton playing Beast. Enough that it seems like it might be very close to happening. So Beef season 2. They seem to be getting some X-Men from.
Wait, who's Charles Melton?
He was in Beef season 2, and he was May December. He was the May.
Oh, you did recommend May December. I did not see it,
and he was on Riverdale for 7 years.
I didn't see any of them. It's fine.
He is a hunky
I've seen
guy.
Beef season 1, and he's going to be Beast.
That's the word.
He's going to be he's going to be so hideous. Anyway,
like Holt, he will be a hideous piece. But yes, we know. I think we can say we know for sure. Again, no press releases, but very credible trades on Samara Weaving and Kit Connor. Samara Weaving being like too good fan casting, someone who was already being a fan cast for Emma Frost. And fuck yeah, hell yeah. Of course I want Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. That's insane. She looks like she stepped out of the comic book.
I'm assuming she's given birth.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my God.
yeah, because she was pregnant during like her press rounds.
You
For the
haven't
last
seen
couple
her
movies.
post an amazing, super hot photo of herself in black underwear, like 2 months after giving birth, where it was like, oh shit, like she got back into shape quick. So, yes, she can wear the outfits, Matt, if that's what you're insinuating.
Was that on Instagram? I don't know.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
Okay.
was.
So Samara Weaving, no, I wasn't even being like, she's not going to be in shape. I wasn't saying that. I just was
You were
saying the
saying,
last time.
ew.
No, I was just saying the last time I saw her, we're doing press for like Over Your Dead Body and
Ready or Not two, back to back. Yeah.
and like Caroline, or whatever. She was pregnant like for all these press junkets. And
She was
like, what?
massively pregnant for these. But you saw the picture I posted with her.
No?
I got a picture with her at the Caroline premiere, and it was like 4 weeks after she gave birth, and you would not have thought she was pregnant recently. But yeah, so she's one of those people who snap back. But anyway, I mean, I love her, and this just seems like, amazing casting, and people are over analyzing the fact that she might be like a decade older than like Scott and Jean if they want to do the love triangle. And I say that actually feels fine to me. That feels appropriate.
Why do they all have to be the same age? Like,
yeah. There's
as long as no one's too young, it's fine. Yeah.
Exactly. I think people get weird about age gaps existing at all. Like, I understand like illegal stuff and like other stuff, but sometimes
the context behind that also is like life experience, right? Because
yes.
Age gap between like a 20 and 30-year-old is more problematic than like a 30 and 40-year-old, right?
Exactly. Yes. So, but also if Emma Frost is being Emma Frost and manipulating Emma Frost, and she's like, in her mid-30s trying to seduce a mid-20s Cyclops, that feels pretty on brand for the character. So, yeah. Anyway,
isn't there a whole movie out with Cooper Hoffman, who was also reported, like rumored to be Scott Summers with Olivia Wilde? Like, isn't there a whole movie about this?
There is a whole movie about this. And I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen Kit Connor in anything either, so I cannot speak to the Cyclops of it all. But I'm excited about X-Men casting, even though, yes, it is funny that we're going to get it right before we see the old X-Men again. But it looks like, and this can lead us into our very late Comic-Con Marvel stuff. The fact that 2028, it looks like we're going to have 3 Marvel movies. After next year, we'll just have 1 with Secret Wars. But it looks like we have a packed schedule in 2028 of, I'm guessing, Phase 7. The Mutant Saga, as we all assume they're probably going to call it. Kicking it off with...
Yeah, let's talk about... I want to talk about David Johnson. Speaking of Callie Sweeney from Romulus and her co-star David Johnson, who's great in that, also great in The Long Walk. And I'm sure other things. I don't know that I've seen him in other things. But he's a great pick. Tell me about this Black Panther. Is this a new Black Panther from the comics? I know people have... Black Panther's had several identities in the comics. Is this somebody we know specifically, like the character?
Oh, you didn't see what Coogler said at Comic-Con?
No, I didn't. I don't listen to
it's T'Challa's kid from the end of the second movie. They're gonna pull some cable shit, Matt. They're gonna do some space time.
I was gonna say, like, are we getting a massive time jump here?
Because Letitia Wright and Winston Duke are going to be in the movie too, and they're not going to make them wear.
Yeah, but maybe they die in the first 5 minutes, and then it says 20 years later. Or something.
That's possible. That's possible. But I'm guessing Secret Wars, which we all assume has some sort of soft reboot, in-universe reboot, right? Something will happen, and he will. And this happens so much in the comics. It happened. Cable's the most famous example, but it happened to Franklin Richards. You do it all the time. You explain what soap operas don't. Soap operas just have a little
where they just have like, it's been 3 weeks, but they've aged like 9 years, or haven't aged at all in 3 years on
because
TV
they want the kid to now be a hunky older teen for romance storylines. But comic books get to actually have someone walk through a portal, magic, next to me, when they had her go into limbo and come back. And so they'll do some shit with T'Challa Jr., and he will be the new Black Panther. So this was, the end of the Marvel panel at Comic-Con. This was the big announcement with Coogler coming out and bringing David Johnson out, which was cool because unlike the other Marvel movie that we'll mention in a second that was announced for 2028, we knew Black Panther 3 was coming. We knew Denzel was in it because him and Coogler have both talked about it, but no one was talking about David Johnson as far as like casting goes. So this was like a legit big surprise. And he's a great actor. So
do we know who Denzel's playing?
We do not. We do not. The big rumor that I think
older T'Challa's son,
right?
From the, we just get future versions that just keep coming back.
Yeah, he dies at the end. Yeah.
Oh man, it's just like fucking the end of 2001, where it goes in a different room.
Shuri's like, I guess a Black Panther still.
Yeah, she's like, that was really weird.
There are a lot of rumors. Are they true? I don't know. That Storm will be introduced in Black Panther 3. Again, Storm has a lot of connection. She was married to T'Challa in the comics.
Oh yeah, I have her T'Challa wedding gown skin in Rivals.
There you go. And that if that's true, then Coogler, of course, would be involved in casting her, and we'll see if that ends up being happening or not. But it would track for a million reasons based on the comics and the fact that we assume that they're going to go mutant heavy in this next phase post Secret Wars.
Oh, the stinking mutant era.
Yes.
And then we've got the full circle that is Ghost Rider, from Eva Mendes to Ryan Gosling in only 20 years. Ghost Rider movies have existed. It was a character that is an interesting pull character as far as like, what do we do comics? What do we do movie adaptations of? Ghost Rider is a tricky character, both effects wise and just like hero wise to get behind. But Nicolas Cage made 2 movies and now they are rebooting it. Oh, and he showed up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like a different non-Johnny Blaze.
The Robbie Reyes, which is the third major
who has a car
one.
and everything. Yeah, so he was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that worked well. But yeah, now they're doing Ghost Rider, a hero Ryan Gosling himself previously said he'd love to do, and apparently that even just kicked off the talks with Kevin Feige. And I like the way they did it in the Hall H there, which is like they show the thing, on the screen, it says Ghost Rider, everyone cheers, lights go up, Ryan Gosling's on stage, bam.
Yes. Like you're saying, like Gosling had made it be very known he wanted to play this character for a long time. It would be crazy for them to say, no, we don't want you. He's coming off Project Hail Mary. He is starring in Star Wars Starfighter next year, which is when we'll mention. This will be reuniting him with Sean Levy, who is just... Sean Levy is the one thing here that makes me less enthused, even though it feels like Sean Levy. I get why the deal with Sean Levy, which is he is a very a trusted director who seems incredibly well-liked, genuinely well-liked by everyone who works with him, knows how to deliver a movie that looks good, like on schedule. He is not particularly an interesting visual director.
He's had hits though.
He's had major.
So like obviously Deadpool and Wolverine was a gimme, right? Free Guy was going to do well, but I think it did better than people thought. And it still also wasn't a massive blockbuster because it cost a lot. But he's just directed a ton of stuff, a lot of comedies, and like over the
the Night of the Museum trilogy. No, he's dependable. Audiences like his stuff, and as much as Deadpool Wolverine was a gimme as far as opening, I mean, look, there's a way to screw up everything. We talked about all the X-Men movies that were screwed up, and Deadpool Wolverine delivered. Now, I love Deadpool Wolverine while also feeling like a more interesting director could have made those action scenes pop more.
I don't know. I like the Honda Odyssey fight. I thought that was well done. But
so I'm not like, fuck yeah. It was very funny because Feige, he has to really build it up about like, there's only one director we could go to for this. Like,
I feel like that there are just ways that directors carry themselves. Like Dustin Daniel Cretton feels like he is a fan, and you feel it in Brand New Day, like the care with costuming and the comic book cover, homages and the things that sort of are taken from the Insomniac games and like pulling from all these things in a way that also makes the movie still feel genuine and original and not just a cobbled together piece of like, hat tipping. But Sean Levy is also like, I'm such a fan. All I do on set all day is geek out. And like, I'm just geeking out with you guys, like he's very much like, sort of like the guy who wants you very much to know that he's also as much of a fan, if not a bigger fan than you are of this stuff. And I'm like,
right. But I mean,
you want that, but not to that degree, like.
But I think again, it works for these actors because Gosling obviously had just done a Star Wars movie with him and was like, cool, let's work together again. Let's do the Marvel movie
and Reynolds too, because he did that weird Netflix movie, even in between
Free Guy
and Deadpool and Wolverine, whatever.
The Adam Project, yes. So so I'm not like fuck yeah, Sean Levy. But I'm
by the way, which is chock filled with MCUers too. By the way,
it absolutely is. Yeah,
Saldana and Ruffalo. Yeah, it's all
and Garner.
Technically Garner, sure.
Technically Garner. But yes, I'm glad that
sung to the tune of Suddenly Seymour. Yeah.
I'm glad that Gosling gets to play this dream character for him. And it's interesting to see that, like, we're not getting Blade. We are going to get Ghost Rider as far as like the horror tinged.
People wonder now if Blade played by another actor, maybe like that's definitely a doorway to some of these characters, including Blade, that we've wanted to see, like the Ghost Rider side of the MCU, you know.
And the Ollie version of Blade, again, they're not going to never do Blade. That was a whole weird project because the thing with that movie was Mahershala Ali came to Marvel and said, I want to play Blade, which was not a project they were actively developing. And they said, oh shit, you want to play Blade? We'll make that happen. And then they couldn't make it happen. And for whatever reason, it just ended up not being a good fit, a good relationship, I'm saying, between the two of them. Whereas Gosling, they've got Sean Levy, who's already made them a massive hit. It just sounds like, okay, we've got a package here, and we're going to go right into this. But they'll get back to Blade, and maybe we'll meet someone as Blade and Ghost Rider.
I mean, Sean Levy is a big time producer as well, including a movie I'm going to recommend at the end of this podcast. Okay,
and of course,
he was an executive producer on Backrooms, which was a big conversation point this summer too. So.
But also, of course, he directed a shitload of Stranger Things, which is, if you want to look for his horror background, that is it. That he directed a lot of Stranger Things, including some very good episodes.
Oh man, he directed an episode of the original Birds of Prey series.
Oh shit, really? That's funny. His first superhero project.
As well as an episode of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is something I've always wanted to do a rewatch of. Okay, let's move on to some more Ryan Gosling news, which is that there is a Zaslovian standoff over Barbie 2, which is that Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, David Zaslav, everyone's favorite, is in a disagreement with giving Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling much better and more lucrative deals for this sequel. And so they're at sort of an impasse right now. We'll see in December, they will officially lose the rights, the Mattel rights. So they have to sort this out by then in a few months.
They have to have a locked in development on the movie by December. It's always interesting. Yeah. When you license characters, what it is, it's funny because after Barbie came out, and again, reminder, Barbie is Warner Brothers' biggest hit ever. So massive hit that also was like Oscar nominated movie, including for Gosling. But it also didn't beg for a sequel. It wasn't like I was like, I love Barbie, but I also wasn't.
No, in fact, not only did we not need a sequel, but we thought we'd get one, but we didn't need one. We also didn't want the vast, high tide of fucking Mattel toys being adapted and not learning the actual lesson of why Barbie was a success, which is, studios will think it's because it was a toy.
Did you see the Matchbox trailer from Comic-Con?
I did. It looks fun, but like,
but
again,
Matt,
but it's like, barely Matchbox.
That's the thing.
It's not really Matchbox.
They couldn't be like, oh no, we got shrunk and we're driving Matchbox toys. It literally had to be that the backstory is, hey, we used to play with Matchbox. Okay.
We're fucking Matchbox kids. Yeah. Like
it's so fucking thin. It's just,
I have to tell you, I had a birthday party and like, I don't know, I'm going to say 3rd or 4th grade or something, elementary school age birthday party. And at that age, you don't know what to get other kids. You don't know them that well. You just kind of be like, oh, whatever. I didn't like cars or matchboxes.
Yeah.
But I got 2 Matchbox cars on that birthday. And I was like, what is this bullshit? What am I supposed to do with this? There are literally cars that in a few years, cars will be able to change into robots. What are we doing here? This doesn't do anything.
The only toy metal cars I needed as a kid were one with the Confederate flag on it because I love Dukes of Hazzard and didn't think about the significance of that flag.
You know how much you adore slavery. So
right. But yeah, so I have this funny thing with Barbie where I'm like, I don't need the sequel, but I'm also like, I'm almost like, I'd rather Greta Gerwig do another good Barbie movie than Mattel get back the rights, license it to someone else. So he gets something dumb. But also, it is funny to hear, well, it's twofold. It's shocking they didn't sign everyone to sequel deals when they did the first one.
Yeah,
but also,
none of them. Yeah.
None of them. But also the fact that Zaslav thinks that they're asking for too much money, and I don't know what they're asking for. I'm sure it's a shitload, but they have all the bargaining position in the world because, again, Warner Brothers' big biggest hit ever. Yeah.
In respect to Gerwig and Noah Baumbach for they have an idea for the sequel. They have it all in the written out and something stored somewhere in their brains or on paper or on computer files. And they are actively not sharing what this idea is until these deals are settled. So it's like they don't even get a taste of what they have in Barbie 2. And they're like, and then, this is my dream. They lock them into these lucrative deals. Everyone wins except Zaslav, which means America wins. But then Gerwig and Bamba are like, here's our pitch. Barbie, fola do. And then... and then Zaslav's like, no, I'm making AI movies from now on.
Oh, shit.
All right. And then we have... okay, I didn't know about this Jurassic World 5. Jurassic Park 8. Is that...
Oh, I'm just saying, whatever you want to call this fucking
What is it? Oh, okay, so it could be either or. Whatever the next Jurassic movie is,
yeah.
Gareth Edwards is not going to direct it anymore.
Over creative differences.
He's like, I was envisioning no dinosaurs. And they're like, Gareth, come on.
Again, as someone who has generally liked most of the Jurassic World movies, except for
maybe
Dominion.
He's just upset about the Blade news and his actor Mahershala Ali getting the shaft.
But it is funny because the last one, Rebirth, he came in last minute. That was like a whole, we're rushing to meet a production date, and he came in and did it, and it was a big hit. And yes, story-wise, we're like, whatever, even though it had cool set pieces.
It made like $900 million or something.
So it is funny to hear that he's leaving over creative differences, because what could it be? What
is the hill that you are dying on for a new Jurassic movie?
Right.
What is the moral imperative that's keeping you? Okay,
which will once more star ScarJo and Mahershala Ali and Jonathan Bailey. But yeah, so strange to hear that happened, and now we'll see. I don't think they're in quite the rush as last time, so it doesn't have to be the same. We're rushing to meet a start date, but we'll see who comes in to direct.
Not Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Mummy 4, the Brendan Fraser one that is coming back with him and Rachel Weisz, has added some more names to our familiar, right?
All but one, and two people new, and one of whom is so hot right now from one of this year's biggest surprise hits.
Okay, I guess I don't know all the people. What I know is Oded Fair.
Oded Fair's back, and then
Evan J. O'Connor is back, who is a Stephen Sommers favorite, who actually doesn't survive the first movie, but is coming back to, I'm assuming, play a new character that's also Weasley.
Oh, I think it'll be Benny. There's going to be some resurrection shit going on here.
Oh no!
Yeah, because then and one of my favorite quotes of the week was John Hannah confirming that Arnold Vosloo is probably in the movie too, with this oddly specific quote where he's like, "My good friend Arnold Vosloo is currently negotiating his deal from Cape Town where he lives." And I don't know why he decided to add all these qualifiers, but he did. So
my very real friend Arnold Vosloo, age 50, I don't know how
right.
Just giving you Sagittarius. Yeah, so
at his favorite coffee shop, and he's negotiating his down to the wire right now. So
he's 64. He was a decade older than I thought he was.
And so the two brand new people are an actor named Newman Akar, who I guess was in Spider-Man. Oh, he's Dimitri. He was one of Fury's guys.
I've seen him around.
He's in Aladdin. But the big one is Michael Johnston, our first big post-obsession.
Oh,
what are they going to do now?
I did read that a week ago, but I totally forgot. Yeah.
Yes.
That's okay. That's fine. This is a good move. Do you think he's the son? Do you think he's their son or something?
Will they recast the son? Because they're also kind of, they have a son no matter what, but they say the third movie they might not even acknowledge. So it's definitely possible
so it's one of those things where after Obsession, you're like, what's next for these people? You want them to make good career choices that lead them further down in success because, they were talented in that movie. So obviously a bunch of them are like, well, now it's time to go into a massive big budget summer blockbuster, whether Andy Navarrete goes into an X-Men movie or not. But Michael Johnston, it's funny where it's like there are levels to this, right? There's levels to this particular shameful career path of like quote unquote selling out, which doesn't exist anymore. It did when we were growing up. Selling out was huge. You didn't want to be a sellout or a poser. Gen X's hated posers. Anyway, so if you told me he was in the next Jurassic movie, I'd be kind of more like, oh, the next Mummy movie sounds fun. So
well,
it sounds more fun.
The main thing for me is it's radio silence. So it's like, to me, I'm like, because I'm not hyped on a new.
And then he's in that radio silence like Flanagan, and then he could do more horror stuff. Yeah, so there you go.
I'm not like, I don't have the giant nostalgia for the Brendan Fraser Mummy that younger people have. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But the fact that they're bringing back everyone from the first movie, I couldn't tell you the specifics of that first movie. I remember it, but it's not like I know it.
I remember the first movie. I swear I saw the second, but couldn't tell you shit about it. The other two, I don't even think.
The thing I remember most from the second is the terrible CG Rock, the Rock, as the Scorpion.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, I did see Scorpion King, but I did not probably see the next two Mummy movies.
Okay, I've seen the whole franchise. Well, I haven't seen all the Scorpion King straight to DVD sequels, but so. Yeah, I'm not like, fuck yeah, Brendan Fraser's back in a new Mummy movie, but I am like, radio silence is making it. I've enjoyed everything they've done. So it's like, that makes me most excited for this. And Michael Johnston working with radio silence, I think is the coolest thing. That's way
more interesting.
Becoming part of that gang.
Radio silence will also step in and do the next Jurassic movie, since they're needed.
There you go. Universal, if they want to hold, there you go. He's in the family.
All right, that was a lot of news. Let's blow through. I've got a couple write-ins here.
Sure.
One is Jaimin writing in basically with something Samara Weaving related. I want it to be known that I did see Caroline Matt. I really enjoyed the experience, Samara Weaving in particular. I think I brought up like that nobody saw that. I still stand by that, by the way. Even though Jaimin saw it, I still stand by that. Like, it was a very little seen movie.
Well, yeah, but every day is a chance for more people to see it.
I heard every day is a winding road. We've listened to two different songs here. Quicksand Buddy writes in with something Spidey related. Hey, webheads, I'm writing in to take Matt's side in the custody battle and say that Brand New Day isn't just my favorite MCU Spider-Man movie by a long shot. I can confidently say it's my favorite MCU movie.
Wow.
It's just it's the first one since Thor Ragnarok where all the comedy cameos and emotional beats worked really well, nearly flawlessly for me. Note, I'm a lifelong DC fan who doesn't know much about Marvel outside the 90s cartoons and the MCU, so this is a casual take. I don't know, Quicksand Buddy. I feel like knowing the 90s cartoons and the MCU is knowing a lot about Marvel at this point. Anyway, especially them cartoons. If you watch like the Spideys and the X-Men's, that's a lot. They took a lot from the comics. So yeah.
And again, while it's not my very favorite, it's a freaking great movie, and I would not begrudge it being your favorite. I like when people love things.
All right. You can also write in at weenjoypodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up on the Discord. You can reach us all different ways. Blue Sky, Instagram, all these things. Just scream into the void. Somehow we will hear it. Eric, do you have any recommendations? It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'll give a couple. Look, it's Spider-Man fever, so hot right now. But a couple of smaller films that I would recommend out this week because I have not seen what the hell is it? The Camp.
Teenage Sex and Death and Camp Meow.
Yeah, I really want to see that. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't.
I missed because of my trip. I saw the TV Glow returning to screens. And I missed We're All Going to the World's Fair. They played both the Jane Schoenborn movies leading up to this movie, and I missed America.
Gentle recommendations, though, for a couple other things that are out this weekend. Tony, the biopic about Anthony Bourdain, that is doing something that a lot of biopics have been doing recently, which I think is a smart move, which is the hyper-focused one. Let's focus on a small part of this person's life, because then you don't fall into quite the same cliches of like the ups and downs of like, here's the era when the things are going good.
It just doesn't feel like a giant 2-hour montage of somebody's,
right.
Like,
and this is Bourdain origins, because it's about the summer that he decided he really wanted to be a chef. After he was studying writing, and went to Cape Cod and ended up working washing dishes at a restaurant. Dominic Sessa, who I always forget the name of the holdovers. Broke out in the holdovers, and his hair. If he has to not cut his hair because he can keep doing movies set in the 70s. So back in the 70s,
well, he is screaming to play Frank Zappa.
Yes.
Yes.
But he's great here, playing Bourdain in his young, super arrogant, full of himself, dickish days. And really nice performance by Antonio Banderas, has the guy who kind of becomes his mentor, the guy who owns the restaurant he's working at. It wasn't like an amazing movie, but I really liked it. I thought it was really sweet. Had some really nice moments. I like the feel of it a lot. Again, it's like 1970s Cape Cod, hyper focus. It's just this one summer. And what's interesting about it is because if you didn't know Anthony Bourdain turns into like a world famous guy, then this movie would feel just like a small coming of age story. It's like it's just the summer I learned not to be a dick, or the summer I found purpose. And it completely works on that level. It's just a movie that, of course, has to end with a postscript because it's like, guess what? This guy went on to do some big shit. But yeah, I really liked it. I also think it's funny that it is technically based on the early chapters of, so it's based on Bourdain's autobiography, Kitchen Confidential, which was also the basis for the Bradley Cooper sitcom from 2005, where he played Bourdain. I think they called him Jack Bourdain. And there's an alternate universe where that show became like a 7-season hit, and Bradley Cooper's stardom started in a whole different way.
So the director of this is interesting because he's one half of that.
Yes, he is.
Nirvana, the band, the movie, the show troupe or whatever,
and he's the director, and so that's the funny thing is Matt Johnson, completely off my radar until this year, and then directed one of my favorite movies this year, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. And that's been like a pet project of him and Jay McCarroll for 20 years now. But then he's also just directing movies kind of on his own. Kind of reminds me of like Showalter. It's like doing his own stuff, and then he's got the stuff that's the quirky for cult fandom stuff. Because he directed Blackberry too, which I really liked. So it's like, I wasn't aware of Matt Johnson, but I also had seen some of the stuff he did. And this is him doing a straightforward small scale coming of age / biopic movie, and I quite liked it.
All right. And then another thing. You said
I did. I will say the most controversial movie of the year. I really enjoyed One Night Only, which is in theaters this weekend.
Fuck Purge. Yeah.
The Sex Purge movie, which this wild premise of like
what happens if do you get executed if you have sex, Eric?
They kill you? Shot in the street. Yeah. You get arrested, you get locked up. But yeah, One Night Only.
What if you have sex in prison? I mean, like, they can't stop you. Like, they put you in another prison. You know what I mean?
I think that's when they start cutting parts off, I guess.
Oh, dear.
One Night Only, the rom-com set in a world where America has made premarital sex illegal except for one night a year for 12 hours.
Is it because of, like, weird Christian fundamentalist politicians like the new founding fathers? So it's in the Purge universe.
It could be Purge it's Universal. If they want to connect this shit, they could. This could be a prequel. And so it's alt universe because they make references to presidents that we know in our recent time, but this is recent thing. It's obviously being like satirical on like, well, if traditional values, if they keep pressing all this stuff, this is where it's going to go. But this stars Monica Barbaro and Callum Turner, has our couple who are having a rom-com meet cute in the middle of this scenario. I will say this:
rather than shot like dogs on the street.
This is a funny movie because
when they have sex after the buzzer goes, after the Purge buzzer goes off,
5 to the head. The lead up to this movie has had people parse out how do the rules of this work in a way that is very funny, but also gets a little obsessive. I was saying it reminds me
same way with Purge, which is like time zones and like
It also reminds me of Cars, as in Pixar's Cars, as in I do understand why it's funny to talk about, but then sometimes people get like angry talking about it. I'm like, it's okay. The movie is much more of a broad comedy than the trailers hint. The trailers make it seem like it's just a sweet little rom-com, which it is also, but it is a broad comedy. The opening text on screen, from the moment is like winking about its crazy premise. There are very funny sequences in this movie. Will Gluck directed this movie, who directed Easy A and Anyone But You, which are two movies I also like. He makes
Anyone But You, starring one Brian Brown, who may be in the next, is in the next 1986 movie we're doing. Yeah.
But that movie was a smash hit because of Brian Brown. But no,
Give me the Brown. Yeah.
He makes legitimately funny rom-coms. It's like, oh, this actually functions as a good comedy, and so I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the two leads; they're super charming together. I do think the last third of this movie could have gone crazy. I feel like there's a different version of this script that goes a little crazier with how subversive it is about its crazy concept, because I feel like there's something about a revolutionary, there's all this talk about there are people pushing back against this, and there are protests and concerts and things that are bad. And I felt like I bet there was a version of this script that interweaved that more, because it kind of instead it's kind of like these characters being like, it sucks we're in this world, and so I kind of wish they'd gone all the way with that, but I still ended up liking it way more than expected because I thought it was funny. And it has Molly Ringwald and LeVar Burton playing a couple, and they're really funny and get to do wacky sex stuff together. So there you go.
Oh, wow. That's all I've ever wanted since I saw them, 35 years ago.
That's right. After that day, you went to see
I'm like, one of these two gonna smash. Yeah.
You went to see Pretty in Pink, came home and watched an episode of Next Gen.
And watched Reading Rainbow. Yeah, not Next Gen. I was like, I want a guy who talks to children. Okay. I have a recommendation for a TV series, but I also want to talk about, I just came back from a long trip, and which means I always try on movies to watch movies I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I'm like, now's the time to watch this drama that I know will make me weep openly in front of strangers. That's kind of been my MO. This time I decided, I'm just going to watch something either that looks fun, something I wanted to catch, or something that looks absolutely mindless, which is why I watched Mercy. So my takeaways from this are Over Your Dead Body. I watched, very fun, very, very bloody and violent. Mercy, it's fine. I wanted a really a dumb whodunit, a whodunit, if you will, because I knew it was a murder mystery. Devil Wears Prada 2, exactly the movie I thought it might be. It was fine, as that first movie was also fine. Don't know why they make as much money as they do, but they're fine. I watched Crime 101, speaking of Monica Barbaro, which is fine. Was also fine.
Yes.
Nobody 2, fun. Not as fun as the first, but still fun.
Yes.
Eric, The Family McMullen. I could not resist. I had to have
closure. Shit!
I had to have
30-year closure of all the legacy sequels in the world.
1995's Family McMullen. And it was also more enjoyable than Crime 101.
It recaptured the Ed Burns magic.
Ed Burns, for those who don't know Ed Burns, he broke out with the Brothers McMullen, like a movie he made for like 25 grand or something in 1995 during like the 90s indie movement. And it became a really well-regarded, low-budget hit with dialogue akin to like, not as nerdy or like pop culture heavy, but it was very Kevin Smithy, which is to say like it was very scripted, and the actors weren't the best actors. Some of them were
overly articulate. Yeah. Not the greatest actors delivering.
Though like there were good actors in them. Like, what's her name who's also in Family McMullen, who came back for it.
Connie Britton.
Connie Britton. I don't know why I wanted to say Connie Nielsen so much. Anyway, Connie Britton's back. Back, baby. They got the Brit back. But everyone's really back as who could come back and didn't die. But none of the other people. Then he made a string of other before he was in, or while he was also in Saving Private Ryan, which was like his biggest high profile thing as an actor, not a writer director. He made a string of other really low budget movies that were all very similar, and usually wound up with him, the lead character, dating a supermodel or Jennifer Aniston or somebody. And so he was sort of like a known name through the back half of the 90s for making these, like, there was one called She's the One that happened right after, and they all talk the same, is my point.
Anyway. Yeah, his movies are such a particular 90s indie movie vibe. Yeah, it's just
it hasn't changed. And it was still welcome. I was like, this is dumb, but it's also fun and familiar. And the thing about Family McMullen is it was 4 rom-coms in one. Because it was like, now that they have he has kids, and they're dealing with their romantic interests, and the tropes are just oozing out of this, and they're lovely. So if you like rom-coms, it's fine. But I enjoyed that more than a lot of the other movies I watched. Though I did watch Is God Is, Eric, which was excellent.
I really wanted to see that.
I wanted to catch that in theaters, and I couldn't make it happen.
Me too. When they showed footage, this happens sometimes at CinemaCon. The studios will show like footage from their slates, and they'll show stuff that doesn't end up coming out till after the next CinemaCon. But when they showed stuff from Is God Is last year, I was like, that looks awesome. It was one of the ones that really kind of popped on my radar, and then I was really mad at myself for not actually.
It was directed by and written by Alicia Harris, based on her own stage play from 2018 about 2 twin sisters who go on this quest to find and also kill their violent estranged father. But then also I really liked Love and Monsters. Love and Monsters. This is the movie that was executive produced by Sean Levy. But it was a movie that came out in 2020. It was supposed to have a theatrical release. It did not get one. And it was one that I'd always heard like good things about. People are like, kind of like The Kid Detective, which I just recently watched a half a year ago. But like, it was like one of those movies that sort of came and went, and people always had good things to say. And I thought it was very lovely and very fun. And also, he had a fun movie this year, that being Dylan O'Brien. He is a very talented actor, so he carries this movie quite well.
I've heard that's really good. Yeah.
Jessica Henwick and Michael Rooker are also in it. It is a lighter-hearted take on the end of the world, which is like, I won't go into the details, but like all the insectociding creatures on Earth get mutated into giant monsters and overtake the surface. And so humanity hides out in separate bunkers, those who've survived, which is barely anyone. And it's about this guy who's sort of been a passive, kind of cowardly character in his bunker, deciding he's going to make a long trek on foot on the surface to find his lost love, who he was separated from when the Earth fell to shit, played by Jessica Henwick. And it's really fun. And I didn't know what the budget was necessarily. Like, the creature effects it's like CG, but they're actually not bad. They're not distractingly awful like you might expect from a movie that only cost $30 million. But anyway, I recommend Love and Monsters. And then outside of my plane watches, I recommend a TV show called Furious, which stars Emmy Rossum. It was created by Liz Meriwether, who's mostly known for New Girl and comedies, but also did other things like The Dropout, which you recommended a few years back. But Furious is great. I think there are 4 episodes to watch right now, as it's a weekly release on Hulu or whatever Hulu is for Yulu. You know what I mean? It could be your Disney Plus package, or could be separate still. And she plays an FBI agent who is tracking what seems to be a female serial killer. I mean, it's not what seems to be. We actually follow her and the killer simultaneously. So it's not a mystery. We know who it is. But she's tracking this woman who's killing men who seem to have direct connections to human trafficking. And so she's tracking a vigilante, and it's full of just these gritty investigative cop tropes that we love. And I haven't seen more than half the season, but it's great so far. So I recommend Furious.
I will check that out. Matt, what was the Ed Burns movie that we went to a test screening of that then led to us getting kicked out of Truman Show?
Oh my goodness. Well, what year was it?
Well, it would have been a movie.
Late 90s, right? Like,
yeah. I don't know. Was it She's the One or No Looking Back?
No, wasn't She's the One? That had come out already.
It already come. Maybe it was No Looking Back, but I feel like it had a different title when we saw it. And I think that's...
No, it was No Looking Back. It was the one with Bon Jovi.
Yep. Okay.
Whatever one had Bon Jovi in it. That's it.
Yes.
That No Looking Back?
Yes.
And that was him and Lauren Holly, right? Yeah, it's all coming back.
Yes. Yeah. This was when Matt and I were going to a lot of test screenings, and at the same time, Ain't It Cool was exploding, where the people were sending in reviews from test screenings, and the studios were furious. And so the week after No Looking Back, we went to a Truman Show screening, and we got kicked out because they recognized us from the No Looking Back screening, and they thought just the fact that we were going to screenings back to back was seen as like highly suspicious behavior. We couldn't just be people who love movies. We probably were sending reviews into Harry Knowles. And so
oh my god, I had no idea until I looked at his filmography that he has been steadily making these dumb movies.
That's what I was going to mention.
I didn't realize. I thought he probably took a 15-year break,
because I was going to say that the titles Miller's in Marriage and Finnegan's Foursome are just perfect Ed Burns movie titles.
The last time I heard of Edward Burns was he had a series called Bridge and Tunnel, and that was like, I assume that was the first thing he'd made in forever, because I wasn't aware he was still cranking these movies. It was I think it went more than one season, but not more. It was an epics show called Bridge and Tunnel, which is literally just the same shit he's doing in movies, but just as a TV show.
Well, and I also will say he manifested, because as he would write himself to get like these gorgeous women as his love interest, he married 90s supermodel Christy Turlington, and they've been married for 20 plus years. So,
still married, eh?
Yeah. So live your dream, Ed Burns.
Well, there you go. I mean, like, if I assume they're both Catholic, which is why they didn't split up right now, so it's fine. Okay, those are my recommendations, and also probably overly detailed account of what I watched on an airplane.
And a long conversation about Ed Burns.
There you go. That's really what I was trying to get to the end of all this.
I was all about that.
This has gone super long, so let's get the hell out of here. What do you say? All right.
Yeah.
Until next time, everything is possible, but nothing is real. FX is up next from our 1986 movies, and Shockma.
Shockma.
Shockma!